Go.
How would you feel if the puppy you adopted from a pet store started to have medical and health issues only a few short years into its life? Most of those adorable puppies you see when you pass the pet store windows come from puppy mills. Adoption shelters are a much more humane option than pet stores when you want to find that new furry addition to your family. First of all, let me tell you some of the hard truths behind puppy mill breeding. A Philadelphia animal police force busted an illegal puppy mill that showed the horrors of how puppies end up in those glass case windows inside of every major mall. The bust showed almost 100 dogs in metal wire cages in such unhealthy living conditions, the police officers were surprised they were still alive by the time they reached the animals. The dogs had barely enough room to move around in the wire cages, their paws were bloody from the floors, and the owners completely neglected to give the animals veterinary attention for any of their health issues. When people buy puppies from pet stores, whether they know it or not at the time, they are supporting the continued cycle of puppy mill breeding. Not only does buying from pet stores support puppy mills, but one of the largest animal welfare organizations in the world, the ASPCA, also warns the public of the many health and behavioral dangers when buying dogs bred in puppy mills. There are several common health problems that tend to plague puppy mill dogs. Some of these problems include epilepsy, heart disease, kidney disease, musculoskeletal disorders, endocrine disorders, blood disorders, deafness, eye problems, and respiratory disorders. On top of physical health disorders, some puppy mill dogs can also experience behavioral problems such as lack of socialization with both humans and other animals and fearful behavior. The ASPCA says this is because puppy mill puppies are taken away from their litter mates and mothers at just 6 weeks old. Since the first few months of a dog's life are crucial for developing socialization skills, puppy mill dogs can sometimes develop behavioral problems. Some members of my family adopted a dog who was born in a puppy mill. His name is Bubba. Although Bubba is a very sweet dog, he has unfortunately suffered from some of the common health issues that puppy mill dogs face, one of which forced the removal of his hip bone and regular medication to relieve the constant pain. His owners also had to work much harder to overcome behavioral issues. Puppy mills are not the only place to find a pet for the family, especially since a better option exists. There are so many animals in shelters that are in need of a home. Many of the animals in these shelters are housed in kill shelters. This means that when shelters become too overcrowded, they must euthanize animals to make room for incoming animals. Animals that have been in shelters too long are the ones in the most danger of being euthanized when new animals come into shelters. So many shelter dogs are overlooked and abandoned because they are not presented in a window like in the mall pet stores. This does not mean that those animals need homes any less. A documentary called Until There Are None followed a group of volunteers who travels across the country to rescue dogs from overcrowded kill shelters just before they are about to be euthanized. They do not get paid for their work, they do it solely for the animals. Once they rescue the dogs, they are placed in foster homes and then placed for adoption in loving homes. Some people may be too afraid to adopt dogs who have been in shelters because they think they may be vicious or not worth saving. But I can speak from my own experience that adopting dogs from shelters can be so rewarding and be so healing for both you and the animal. When my childhood dog passed away, it was a while before my family decided it was time to get another. We decided to go to the Humane Society shelter in Phoenix to see if our next family member was waiting for us. We saw him and instantly fell in love inside the meet and greet area. We took him home that day, and for the last 12 years, he has been one of the best additions to our family. Because our dog Bo was from a shelter, he has never had any medical issues and has always been the perfect picture of doggy health, even though he is over 14 years old. Dogs in shelters are always in need of homes. If you do feel the need to adopt a dog from a breeder, make sure you do your research and only purchase a dog from a breeder that you know is legal, takes care of the animals humanely, and does not breed one animal excessively. The ASPCA thinks that there are about 2,000 to 3,000 legal puppy mills around the country. However, they also think there are 10,000 total puppy mills across the country. This means that over 7,000 of the country's puppy mills are operating illegally and most likely mistreating the animals in numerous ways. If everyone would stop buying dogs from pet stores and instead adopt from shelters, it would help kill shelters from overcrowding as much as they do and save many animals from being put down. If more people gained awareness about the dangers of puppy mills and the benefits of adopting, then maybe they would turn to animal shelters to find their next furry friend. Don't shop, adopt.